this is a webinar on how to make a schedule for step one. As you guys all know, step one is a very important test that you guys have to prepare for. And you have to make sure you have the right schedule in order to study for it properly, because otherwise you're not going to be able to complete all the material that you need to know for the test. So that's exactly what we're going to go over in today's webinar on how you should be scheduling for step one. And just to let you guys know, my name's Kartik. I'm a fourth year medical student. Just applied for my residency application in internal medicine. And I'm here because I want to help those people that, having trouble with step one, studying for it. Because, I was in your guys' shoes too a couple of years back. And I passed my step one. I got a 250 plus on my step two. And I worked with a bunch of my peers who have scored really well in step two and done really well in step one as well. And we come together and we want to help you guys. Just to let you know, I started very low on my practice tests on both step one and step two. I was around 35% step one and about 38, 40% starting on step two. So I started at the lowest of the lows. So what is a schedule? A schedule is, it's a plan. A plan is what? A schedule is when. It takes both a plan and a schedule to get things done, by Peter Turla. So what does this mean? You got to have a schedule of what you're going to do every single day for leading up to your exam, and a plan is exactly what you're going to be doing. So that's what we're getting into. And let's get into the facts first before we get into how you should make your schedule. It's starting with why you need a schedule in the first place. You need a schedule because there's 100 resources to use out there. There's so many different resources for step one. It's almost kind of crazy how many different resources are. And the average student studies for only about 3 months. So in 3 months, you can't do all the resources. A lot of people lately, especially since the past fail, have been getting burnt out because they're going way too hard from the beginning and don't complete it, don't have enough time for studying. And then others are out there, they're underestimating the review time. They're like, wait, how much time do I need to review? And then last minute, they're like, wait, I can't do this in enough time. And then they push back their tests. Then it ruins our whole rest of the year if you had school plans. And the last one is a lot of people don't give themselves enough rest. Some people work so hard and then keep working hard that they burn out and don't even give them mental rest. So you got to give a balance of everything. So this is how we're going to make a schedule. We're going to figure this out together. We're going to do this live, and I'm going to be taking one of you guys' schedules live. You guys just shout it out and we'll go from there. But first thing you got to figure out is your timing. You got to pick your test date. You got to look at the rest of your schedule leading up to that. How much school do you have? How much work do you have? How much extracurriculars do you have that you're dealing with during that time? I have a friend that, took many gap years before taking a step one, and he had nothing else going on. So he was just working, making money, studying for step one. So everyone's situation is very, very different. And just like I was talking to a student earlier, people in India, this timing is very different. So figure out what you have going on and figure out how many hours a day can you allocate to step one studying. And realistically, what will your step one studying be looking like on a daily basis? Second, you got to pick out your resources. If you guys attended my previous webinar, it's all about resources. Resources make up everything and how your quality of studying is. And you got to use about 5 to 7 different resources. That's probably the max you want to do. You don't want to use more than that because then you're going to get overloaded on what to do. You're not going to know what to study. What we recommend at the Doctor Journey is UWorld, Pathoma, Sketchy, Anki, and the NBMEs. These are basically all you need to know to really ace step one and do it in a way where you can live your life still. You don't have to only study step one 24/7. So this is what we recommend. Third, the trifecta. The trifecta to making a schedule. We talked about the timing. How much can you get done in a day, in a week, in a month? How much time do you have till your test? Next is resources, picking out those resources that you're going to use that are vital for making sure you do well on it. And third, your goals. So what are your goals on step one? Are your goals to just get by and pass, get that 60% plus, be fine? Or are your goals to do really, really well, be really, really prepared for third year or whatever else you guys are doing afterwards, step one? So kind of get an idea of your goals as well, because that's going to really help aid how much work you need to do to achieve your goals. He who will win knows when to fight and when not to fight. Sun Tzu, Art of War. You guys may have heard of this author, and he's all about strategy and planning. And that's what we got to do. This is a battle. This is our war. We're going to step one battle. We got to plan everything and know exactly when and when not to fight. So I have a real hypothetical schedule here. This is a very common schedule that many people have. Timing, let's say this hypothetical student has 5 months until the test date of March 7th. In school, they are in school, they work 1 hour of study time during the weekdays and 6 hours on the weekends per day. And the resources they want to use are UWorld, First Aid, and B&B. And they have a few dates they want to take off in October, November, December, January. You know, this seems like a pretty common schedule that a lot of students, especially in the US, want to do this. They really like B&B, they really like First Aid, and they really like UWorld. So how would you go about this, you know? Well, you got to do resources for the amount of time. Now, this is a confusing slide. Don't worry, we'll go into some graphs in the next couple of slides. But UWorld has 3,643 total questions. And let's say you have 10 weekdays. You do 10 questions of UWorld in a weekday, and then you do 60 on the weekends. That equals to about 170 questions total for the week. And if you do that for 2.5 months, that doubles to about 340 questions for 2.5 months. And you need about 3.5 months at about this rate to cover all of it. So this is kind of a plan. Well, don't worry, we'll dive into the questions in a bit. And feel free, if you want to unmute and ask questions during, feel free to. B&B, there's 447 total videos to cover. That means you would have to do 2 videos during the weekdays each day and 7 during your weekend each day for 24 videos a week. It will take you 4.6 months to cover all of this material at this rate for this hypothetical schedule of this student. And first aid supplementing when correcting or stuck on B&B. That's how we recommend it. Using first aid as a supplementation resource instead of being the main resource. Because the first aid supplementation is exactly how you really understand the knowledge. It really helps you understand when you're correcting UWorld, when you're stuck on B&B, what is this topic, and it helps with that. And doing practice tests every Saturday from the 2.5 point mark onwards. Because for this student, they had 5 months until their test. So having 2.5 months practice test is more than enough. So on their final schedule, what the student would have, they'd have 2 phases. They'd be doing content, light UWorld, and more content. By content, I mean the B&B, a little bit of UWorld, and then UWorld and practice test. So phase 1, weekdays, like we just talked about, you're gonna do 2 B&B a day, you're gonna do 20 UWorld plus corrections. Weekends, you're gonna do 7 B&B, 60 UWorld, and corrections. Phase 2, after the 2.5 point mark, you want to do 2 B&B with notes a day, 40 UWorld plus corrections during the weekdays. Weekends, you want to do a practice test, you want to review, you want to watch 7 B&Bs, 120 UWorld questions plus correct to finish in enough time. This is a lot, I know. And we're going to get into exactly what my thoughts are on this. This was a hypothetical schedule proposed to me by other students, and I'm going to give my thoughts on it. So this is kind of what the schedule would look like. I just made it into a graph form. Sunday, it's a weekend, either B&B, 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 free time, you get some UWorld 60, you correct it, you review them. You know, you got a full day schedule. During your weekdays, you see you have school, 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 B&B. This is for this hypothetical student 5 days a week. They only want to do a little bit of B&B. But again, on Saturday, again, back to the grind. It's pretty busy. And I would guess this student would probably get burnt out doing this for 5 months straight. So these are my thoughts. This hypothetical schedule is pretty common. People really want to do B&B. It's really good. But from my experience, Pathoma is better than B&B. Reason is it does a much condensed version of this. Yes, you only get pathology in, but pathology is 60% of the exam. So you cover 60% of the exam in a way less amount of videos. And it's only 131 videos for Pathoma versus B&B's 447. Top of that, this student did not want to do Anki, which is fine. People don't like Anki. But even if you do Anki, a lot of people are like, oh, do Anki deck, the one with 30, 40,000 cards. No, I recommend you do Duke deck. It's very focused. It's based on Pathoma cards. It's about 1,800 cards total. Very doable. And then you want to add on the sketchy Anki, which is the next bullet point. You want to watch sketchy and you want to watch the farm and the micro. Really, really key. Those, in my experience alone, I raised my test score 20% by just learning all the sketchy micro and farm. And the deck for sketchy on Anki is called LOL No Kopernik. You can look it up, free to download. That's the one you want to do in addition to Duke. After that, you want to do practice tests plus UWorld. This student already had that planned. That was great. But I tell this student, look, in reality, the schedule you want is great, but you're going to be working really hard for 5 months. Ideally, you want to be working hard, but being able to take a little bit of a breather too. So I'd wait for their choice. We'd talk about it. We'd go discuss back and forth, and then we'd make a schedule. This is what we do at the Doctor Journey. Not only do we tutor, we help people make their schedules. And honestly, it takes a while to learn and make a great schedule. Now, I've done this for plenty of students. I've done this for many different people with different scenarios. And it usually takes a talking back and forth, what that student wants, what is the resources they want. I give them the thoughts on our experiences, and then we make a schedule. And if you need any scheduling help, this is just a quick one. Personal help. We'll go over everything. We'll talk everything in detail. We'll take every detail you have in your life, how to study for step one, what's going to work for you, and we can make a schedule back off that. And we do revisions off that too. Normally, this is a $75 fee, but those people who are listening or watching the recording of this webinar, email us at thedoctorjourney21@gmail.com and let us know you want us to make you a schedule and that you watch this webinar. We'll give you a discount of $25. That's how we help people schedule. We really take into account all the time you have and plan every single day down to the hours. And also on the drjourney.com, we have a bunch of resources. If you go on there right now, this I really highly recommend. Go on the website. We have a bunch of free resources on there. It tells you exactly what resources are trusted out of those 100, which ones you should be using. Correction tracker. We also have a really good correction tracker on the drjourney.com. You can go on there, look at that correction tracker, download it, write down your UWorld corrections, write down your test corrections. It tells you everything. It's made very detailedly, beautifully by one of our tutors. And also we have our downloadable schedule. In addition to making custom schedule for you, we have a free downloadable 3-month schedule on the website. You can use that as a basis to creating how you want to study. But again, if you want a custom study schedule for all your personal needs, reach out to us. We are more than willing to help anytime. We can even discuss with you on email for free if you guys have any questions. And we have an upcoming webinar on how to solve for NBME questions, test taking tips, how to go through the secrets of the NBMEs, what's going to help you study best for those tests, and how to tackle those specific questions. Sorry, the font didn't come through. It was there before, but on my screen, it's not popping up right now. Here's a QR code here. I'll send out links later. You guys can scan it, sign up. We're going to go in depth on that. But right now, we're going to get back to scheduling. There you are. There's the words. Missed the words right there. So, one of you guys from the audience, yeah, feel free. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about a schedule. I'm gonna pick a random name otherwise, and then we'll go from there. Srinas, you want to go over your
Yeah,
schedule? Are you okay if we go over a schedule for you?
yeah, sure.
Okay,
But
okay,
like I'm a second year student, so I
that's
have
okay.
not made. Yeah,
We're just gonna make a brief sample schedule. So
sure, sure,
we'll
sure,
kind of get an idea how we do this.
sure then.
Okay. Sorry, it's looking a little whack.
Uh-huh.
So tell me, what do you normally do on a daily basis? Like, what is your daily schedule looking like?
So basically, I have my college from
Okay.
8:30
Okay.
until 4:30.
Okay.
Yep, and then I take 1 hour of break, so up
Okay.
till 5:30, and then I have my snacks. And by
Okay.
6, I start studying for my classes.
Okay.
Whatever it's taught in the class, I do it for what 8:30 to our
Okay.
study, and then I have my dinner. I take the break, I talk to my family and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and then again I restart my study.
Mm-hmm.
until 12 at night, and then I go back to sleep by 12:30.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
When would you think your schedule would allow for some step one studying?
I think weekends would do for
Weekend.
sure.
Okay.
Yeah, and then in between we have our clinical postings as well, but at times we get free, like
Okay.
before time.
Okay.
Sometimes it's just that you go there and you get your attendance. You're free for what, 2 3 hours. So
Okay.
between that also we have time.
Okay.
Mhm.
Um, you're not able to see my screen right now, right?
No, nope.
Let me share it again. Okay. Can you see it?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So you said mostly the weekends is what you're going to use to study, right?
I would love to use UWorld.
Okay.
I'm boss. Yeah.
Okay. So UWorld and Boss is the main things you want to use, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What other resources do you think you would use? Do you think you would just use those two? Do you think you'd use anything else?
NBMEs as well.
Yes. Good choice. Do you think any video series you want to watch? Any Anki you want to do?
I don't have idea about Anki. I have seen Pathoma. I really liked it as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, Anki, we can talk about totally outside of this webinar. You can
Sure,
email
sure.
and I can totally go over that with you. Okay.
Sure thing.
Would you like to do Pathoma in this hypothetical 1 month schedule?
Sure thing.
Okay. So this schedule we're gonna use your URL, some Amboss, some Pathoma, and an NVMEs, okay?
Mm-hmm.
This is by no means a full schedule. This is just for 1 month of planning, okay? So
Okay.
let's say you start, tomorrow and you're gonna do this and the upcoming weekend you're gonna be studying. Um,
Mm-hmm.
since you're gonna really only be doing 2 days a week, we're gonna use day 6 and day 7. That's your Saturday and Sunday, okay?
Sure.
So on your UWorld, since you're doing only weekends, let's make you do like 80 questions a day. Do you think you can do that? 2 hours of questions?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Um, you can do 80 questions of UWorld in Saturday, and then you gotta correct them. You think you can spend another hour and a half in addition to that to correct?
Sure.
You think so? Okay. So that's your 80 UWorld on Saturday you're gonna do plus correct them, okay?
Okay.
And then do you want to do Amboss on Sunday or do you want to continue what you want?
I would love to do Emboss.
You would love to do some Amboss. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many do you think you can do Sunday? You think you can do the same amount?
Yep.
Okay. 80. We'll do a 80 plus correct for Amboss.
Correct. Yeah.
So that's about 4 hours each day. We'll just estimate right now. Okay. Two for that,
Okay.
two. Okay.
Okay.
How about Pathoma wise? Do you think you can study more than 4 hours a day?
Yep.
Okay. You think you can watching about two Pathoma videos is like 45 minutes, 40 to
Yeah.
40 minutes. You think you can do two or will you want to do more?
I can do more than that.
Okay, how many do you think you can do if average Pathoma video is about 20 to 25 minutes?
20 to 25. So I can watch four,
Four?
2 hours video. Yeah. Four.
Okay, and you think you can take notes with that too?
Yeah.
Okay, so you want to do that Saturday and Sunday?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So there you go. You got a little bit of a plan of the first week. That's just the first week we're doing, okay?
Okay. Okay.
So we are gonna repeat this. And what I'm thinking for you is for the first 3 weeks, since let's say this you're starting this next week and you're fresh, right? You're
Mm-hmm.
kind of getting used to this. We do this for 3 weeks, and then on your fourth week, we take a practice test.
Okay.
What do you think of that?
It's good.
You think
I
that's
can
good?
do. Yeah.
Okay. All right, then let's do this. 80 plus correct, right there. So 3 weeks. Okay. And then you said 4 Pathoma every day, right? Plus the notes you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. There you go. So those are your 3 weeks. So week 4, as I'm thinking, you kind of are getting the handle of how the questions are asked. You're doing some content, and then obviously, if you have more time, we can fill in the weekdays. That would be really good. But you said weekends only, so that's okay. NVMe wise, um, would you be okay taking the first NVMe after like the fourth week of getting through with the material?
Sure.
Okay. Then we can do NVMe 25. How's that?
All right. So
Okay.
25 questions, right?
No, 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 no. So NVMe 20, there's how many are there? There's seven NVMEs, okay? 25, 26 through 31, okay?
Okay.
They're just the names of them. Now each NVMe is 200 questions. Um, so they take 4 hours to do. It's like 3/4 of the full practice test that you're taking on the real day.
Okay.
So, what I advise is I usually tell people to do a like a full real length to do NVMe 25, plus to do 2 UWorld blocks after that.
Okay.
That's because I think it more simulates the actual timing of the exam versus if you just do, just this, because they only cover 200 questions and your actual exam is 280 questions, I believe.
Okay.
So do you want to do a real length? Do you want to add on UWorld on top of NVMe 25?
Sure, if time permits, yes.
Yeah, okay. Then we'll do so 40, you would have to do what was it? 40, 80, it would be 80 questions. And we're just gonna leave it at 80. The reason why is because when you do this much and this much, like the whole end exam plus the UWorld, you're gonna be going over so many different hours that you're gonna be tired. You don't want to be corrected.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You're gonna want to rest the rest of the day because that's almost 7, 8 hours of studying, right?
Yeah.
So being realistic, we're gonna want to correct this tomorrow, the day after,
Okay.
because the correcting takes about the same amount of time as actually doing the questions.
Mm-hmm.
And so we want to make sure that you're correcting it right after the next day when you have more time. Okay.
All right.
Do you have any questions on this? Do you want to add more information that you want to do, or is this a realistic schedule for your life, how it's going right now?
This seems realistic, and this I think is doable.
Okay,
So
okay.
right, yeah.
Okay, then you know what? After this webinar, send me your email in the chat, and I'll send you the link to it. Okay.
Sure, sure.
Yeah. Any questions, anyone?
Oh, yeah, we have a question in the chat box. I have the same question.
In the chat.
Uh, yeah, like you wouldn't amboss like beginning if he's not going through a first aid initially.
Mhm.
Should he be going randomly you would or system wise?
So this is what I recommend. Everyone that's gone through your world, doing it random at first is not the best idea. Even though in your test it's going to be random, start by going system by system. So I know Srinas right here, he didn't want to do any content like Pathoma, B&B, or Anki or any of that, right? But let's say you're doing that content. It's easy to do. Let's say I covered cardiology and that my content today. I'm going to do cardiology questions on your world or AMBOSS. So that's exactly how you want to do this. You want to do it system by system at the beginning. So take the total amount of time you have to your test and divide that by half. The first half, do it system by system, what you're studying that day or that week or whatever. And then the second half, start preparing exactly for the test. Do it random. That's the best way to go about it that we've seen in our experience.
So like about 50-60% of the U world we end up completing system wise and the rest remaining we do it randomly.
Exactly, exactly. That's exactly how you should probably approach it because if you're anything like me and you were starting to go up, started at a lower base and you're learning all the information, it's easier to digest system by system than going random all at once. Because random, it's hard to absorb everything then.
And like how do you suggest we add on first aid with U world?
So let's say, okay, we're doing a cardiology question, right? And this person comes up with a heart attack. You're like, okay, I know one of the coronary arteries is blocked and I forgot where the RCA, what does it supply? Okay, then let's look up what the right coronary artery supplies. Let's go to our first aid. Let's look it up and let's read whatever that little section of first aid is. Okay, so that's how we do it. We usually go in first aid to supplement our learning, not really to use it as a content base. Because reading first aid, there's 800 pages in first aid. I mean, if you have the time, go for it. And if you like reading books, it's really good. But in the ideal world, most of us are busy. We have our school, we have our work, we have families and everything else. We're not going to have time to read it. So supplementing it to learn topics that you don't understand during your corrections is how I recommend.
So you're suggesting we do it like retrospectively. We solve the blocks and we go through the topics to first aid and correct it.
Yes, exactly. Retrospectively, supplementing where you need to be supplemented.
And also, I have a question like specific to you world. While solving it, should we review all the questions in the end after 1 hour of block, or side by side simultaneously per question review is recommended? Because people have different opinion on this.
I totally agree. And I don't think there's a clear answer. I think the answer is very personal. A lot of people that I know and that are working with us on the doctor journey, they like doing it side by side. That's how they like learning. I personally liked it more of a realistic way where I just went 40 questions all at a time in an hour, and then I corrected it after. I think it comes down to you. If you have like a very specific strict time you can study for, and you can get questions out the way right away, and then you can correct after, that's good. But if you're, let's say you're like in a busy coffee shop, you can't focus or something, maybe doing question by question is the best way to go. It depends on how you learn best, if you want to go all the way through and do it or just one by one. So sorry I can't answer that one specifically.
No, it's okay. Like, can I share my schedule a bit so that I can just have some assurance because I'm planning to give my step this December.
This December.
Like the date that I have is 23rd December, and I am actually free. Like I have the whole day with me. I
Okay.
am not I'm not in my med school right now.
Okay, that's good. So what I recommend, we can talk more in detail through email, if that's okay with you. I'll write the email. Is that okay?
Sure, sure.
Okay, and then we can talk more in detail about every detail you need to study, okay? Here's the email in the chat. This is for anyone that you can reach out to us. But that's good. You're free till December. We'll talk about exactly what resources you need to do and what you haven't done, okay? Any other questions or concerns by anyone? If not, I have a couple more slides I'd like to share. Okay. So let's get back to this. And let me share desktop. Okay. So we took the schedule. We took Srinas's schedule. And Srinas, can you send me your email in the chat so I can send it to you?
Sure.
Okay. So tutoring, this is just to let you guys know, we do offer tutoring for the boards as well. We have students who have scored very high 270s under step 2. They have tutored hundreds of different students. We work together with them to make sure you guys get the best tutoring possible. Since you guys are attending this webinar, we have a lot of discounts. We just email us again at the drjourney21@gmail.com. If you want scheduling help, we can do that separately. But if you buy any of these packages right here, our group tutoring, we are offering 4 sessions. In top of that, we'll give you a 5th session for free. And we do a med school strategy session, where we talk about what you guys should be doing to pursue the residency of your dreams, whether it be in America, outside of America, you're an IMG, or you're from America yourself. We talk everything with you. On top of that, we make the schedule within the price of these group sessions. So same with the 5 individual tutoring sessions. Those are one-on-one with our really custom high-up tutors. You make your schedule for you. We have 3 med school strategy sessions, and we make sure that you guys are getting the best tutoring possible. And then lastly, we have our unlimited tutoring plan, where you have unlimited one-on-one until you pass. And we have unlimited med school strategy sessions during your time period that you're doing this tutoring. So those are the options we offer for tutoring, and we're making sure that you guys get the best session prep possible. And thank you guys for listening. That's our Instagram right there. Go follow us at the doctor.journey, or email us the drjourney21@gmail.com. We're more than willing to help anyone out there. We want to make sure you guys are doing well. We started in humble beginnings ourselves. We weren't all geniuses that are on the doctor journey. We worked ourselves up, and we want to help you guys through this difficult journey, especially for those of you coming in applying as IMGs. I have a lot of personal experience. A lot of my family are IMGs, and we've been helping them get into their residency. So if you have any questions, let us know. and we'll be in touch. Thank you guys for attending.